One of the questions I get asked frequently is, should my Christian band play free shows? My answer is not what most people expect, but it makes sense if you're willing to stop and think instead of looking for a quick and easy rule to apply to your ministry. When anyone asks you to play a free show, they're really asking you to donate to their cause. You cannot donate every time you're asked, so you need to consider all your donations carefully. The rest of this video is an excerpt from the Christian Band Handbook to help you decide which free shows to play. First off, we need to change our thinking to understand that there is no such thing as a free show. Every concert costs money. The promoters have to pay for obvious expenses like hall and equipment rental, electricity, security, printing tickets, and advertising. They also have many hidden expenses: insurance, gas to run around town promoting and organizing the event, lunch meetings, and postage for contracts and advertising. Like any other band, Christian bands have travel, gas and food expenses, plus the less obvious vehicle and equipment maintenance, promotional expenses like websites and press kits, and merchandise development, including booth design and creation. Most Christian bands cannot pull out of their driveway for less than $200 when you include all the expenses. Free shows cost someone money. Average concert ticket prices simply are not keeping up with rising expenses. Then, when you add in the attitude of many people who believe that Christian bands do not need to be paid because they're a ministry, wow, it's a disaster. Your band has probably been asked to play far more shows offering no payment than shows paying even enough to cover your expenses. Unfortunately, you've probably also encountered some major attitudes from people who found out your band turned down playing for free at their event. Your band's reputation is on the line, as well as the future sustainability of your ministry. So how you handle this problem is important. There seems to be two schools of thought. 1, play every show offered to your band so you can build a fan base and create a stir. Or 2, don't play any shows at all. You're a workman worthy of your hire. Once in a while you can donate a show to a specific cause, but generally unpaid free shows are for amateurs and are undermining the overall worth of the music ministry. I don't agree with either extreme. My best advice is to establish an overall band policy about playing free shows, but evaluate each show request as it comes in. Here's a list of questions to ask when evaluating a show. Are all your members available to play the date? It's just not very smart to consistently take away from your bandmates' family or work time to play ineffective gigs. Spouses and kids will understand that you cannot attend every family event, but they probably will not accept that you cannot attend any family events. Be careful not to book so many shows that families become resentful of the ministry, especially if they're also expected to suffer financially for the ministry. It's perfectly okay to turn down a free show because a bandmate needs some family time. How much is this show going to cost in dollars? Try to set up some kind of a budget. Include tolls and gas money, food for the band, and housing if needed. Do not include your overhead expenses, which would be there if the band plays this particular show or not. Obviously, unpaid free shows in your hometown are much less expensive to play than those 4 hours away. Does your ministry have that much to spend? Looking in the band checkbook is not what I mean here. Just because the band has enough money in the bank account does not mean the band has the money to spend on a concert. Is this money set aside for some other expenses, such as recording or equipment purchases? If so, the band doesn't truly have the money to spend on playing a free show. Ask yourself if this gig is worth delaying the planned purchases. If you do not have that much money, is the show planned far enough in advance that you could raise it? A well-planned event should be planned months in advance. This might just give your band enough time to do a fundraiser, or play a paying show to cover the expenses of the unpaid free show. I'm always leery of last-minute shows that do not pay because the promoters, however well-intentioned they may be, generally do not have time to promote the event. So the audience is very small and the ministry opportunities are very limited. Is it wise to spend your money and or your time raising the money for this show? Is your ministry intensely focused on another project right now? Recording, songwriting, or fundraising for a new vehicle are all time-intensive projects that could be put off track by the interruption of an unpaid free show. The event may be awesome, but it just might not be the right timing for your band to participate. It's okay to support an event without playing at it. How many people is the show expected to draw? Not your own fans that will come anyway. No one likes to determine ministry based on numbers, but the reality is that your band will go broke playing shows without an audience. It's extremely difficult to keep the fun mojo on stage when your band consistently plays shows with small audiences. It's almost impossible to sustain the excitement about your ministry when your band is depressed because no one hears the music. You need at least some shows with larger audiences to survive as a band ministry. Is the show targeted to your potential fan base? Have you ever been the only goth band at a Southern Gospel show? Or vice versa? I have. There's no words to describe that feeling. Larger audiences are great, but try to determine the demographics of the potential audience. If they don't fit with your band's targeted audience, you may be wasting your time and money. More importantly, you may be offending a brother or sister in Christ who simply cannot understand your ministry. How much true ministry opportunity will be available? Will you be able to fulfill the ministry calling of your band at this show? Is your band primarily called to evangelism? Then playing an unpaid free show at a church might not be the best for you. Are you called to encourage Christians? Church gigs were made for your band. Will your band have time and be allowed to interact with fans before and after the show? Playing back-to-back unpaid free shows on the same day isn't always making the best use of your resources. You'll be exhausted and lose out on the one-on-one ministry with the audience and other bands. It's okay to turn down a show because you already have another show that day. Are there any other benefits to the band, such as radio interviews or print media spotlights? A concert that's well promoted should include interviews and newspaper write-ups. Can your band participate in them? These interviews help to build a good reputation for the band and can be added to your press kit. Be sure to request reference letters from the prominent people who helped put on the event. The band benefits from the advertising, and when you're asked to participate in interviews, you know that the concert is being promoted well. But the most important question of all is, does your band feel impressed by God to play the event? If the answer is a definite yes, then go for it and trust Him to overcome the obstacles. Most often, however, the answer isn't so clear. In those cases, use your best wisdom and trust Him to guide you as you seek to do your ministry. Prayerfully listen with a heart full of love and obedience. He'll let you know what you need to do, how you need to do it, and when you need to do it. It is not more godly or spiritual to donate your time and money to play every single show, just as it does not make you a spiritual giant to play only when your ministry gets paid. Listen for God's leading and use your wisdom and discernment. Relationship with your Father makes you a true Christ follower and will lead your ministry into His definition of success. Does your Christian band need more places to play? Christian Band Help has a free PDF called the Christian Band Booking Calendar to help you book more gigs. There is no magic formula for booking your band. It requires consistently finding and contacting people who might be interested in your music and your ministry. No one likes to contact people we don't know, including bookers. It's easier for them to contact musicians they already know. So music ministers who don't actively pursue gigs don't get them, because bookers generally book musicians they know and trust. If we don't make the effort to reach out, the band won't have places to minister. I spent years booking and had to learn the hard way by trial and error. It would be wonderful if you didn't have to go through that process. So I'm giving you my strategy free. When you click the link below, you'll get a 3-page PDF that outlines what to do each month to get the most possible and best gigs. I can't do booking for you, but I can share the process that worked for me.